Welcome back.
Welcome.
It's Easter Sunday.
Welcome.
Not like we care.
The bunnies and the peeps
have risen.
What's
up?
Bad. We're so
How you
bad.
doing?
Hi.
How's it going?
It's a sunny day. Spring is here. We're talking about the weather. Spring is here. But
Spring is here.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Trees are budding.
Yes. Do we have blossoms on our tree back there yet?
Oh, we do up front.
We have an apple tree. We picked one apple from it last fall.
It's actually pretty good.
I'm hoping maybe we'll still be here for some apples.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And we have to remember
Go
to
raid
pick
the apple tree.
apples before they all fall to
They're like, oh, they all fell to the ground. Oops, we
and
missed.
disgusting mess.
Mhm.
The birds go nuts.
The crows just flock.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Our little yard is a sanctuary for the flying creatures, and it's cute. Sort of. It's kind of gross. I don't know. Birds are kind of gross.
They are gross. They
It's
are.
just a little.
Yeah.
And
just
the
a little
crows,
bit.
all I think of is the birds. The birds, the movie. They're pecking our eyes out. They're gonna, when we have the window open, they're gonna come through the window. They're gonna break the screen and kill us.
You know, it's funny. I don't mind the crows. It's the seagulls that just
Really?
like freak me
And
out.
those
a
are the
little bit
two
more.
birds in the movie.
Like the frickin' sky rats in the marina. I'm like, are you gonna dive bomb me today? What's going on? Especially when they like all lift off the roof and it's just like oh my god.
They're
Yeah.
coming! Wow. That's so funny that they scare you. I'm sorry. It's just funny that those are the two birds.
It's just like the one thing I'm just kind of like, I'm gonna
So those
be...
freak you out more than the eagles?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't mind the eagles.
I'm more scared of the eagles.
I would say the only other thing that kind of like freaks me out is the herons.
Yeah.
Frickin' sky pterodactyls.
Modern day pterodactyls.
Yeah.
Are you first? Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
Highlight, lowlight stuff.
Highlight.
My highlight is that we've started doing boat upgrades, and my green, techie, nerdy, love to tinker with things side is happy.
It's at peace, but not at peace.
It's
the
probably driving Haley a little bit insane. But it's fun. It's all good.
It in the morning when you came out and you were like, so.
Well, I'm up, how many hours before you, so my mornings are usually kind of slow, so I just sit there.
You're just waiting for me to wake up so you could tell me everything. You didn't stop. And we could do this, or we could do this.
And we've started, I'm not going to say set in stone, but we've started figuring out kind of our sailing schedule for this year. Plan hopefully is twice a month, maybe a bit more depending on tidal ranges and times and stuff like that. Because hopefully, like in July and August, we could technically go out every week because we'd have all that sunlight. So even if the peak high is like 2:00 in the afternoon, we could still go out at 2:00 in the afternoon for a couple hours and sail.
We're not letting crabbing season stop us this year.
Yeah, we're not letting it do that.
In our podunk pocket of a town.
So we decided that on the days that there's an off season, which if it's like last year, it'll probably only be until when did they go all the time? I feel like it was end of August. They then opened the season like fully, so like every day, which is fine.
I forgot about that.
But who knows? We may not be here.
Knock on all the wood, all the things.
But yeah, the tentative plan for crabbing season is the days that it's closed. I feel like it's 2 days, maybe 1 day, 2 days. I can just kind of shift work around-ish, and we'll go down on the boat the night before, and then we'll go out when we can go out, when there's no pots clogging the bay. Yeah.
Where our wheels, where our rudders can get totally destroyed from all the lines.
Well, it's just more of I don't want a buoy line wrapping around my prop.
That's
You know,
the
because people aren't following, the rules. Because you're not supposed to use, laundry detergent jugs and milk jugs, and you're supposed to
Wait a minute.
mark your pots.
What?
You're supposed to mark your pots with a highly visible buoy
Are people doing
or
that?
fender. And technically, it's against the rules to mark it with like jugs, but people still do it because they don't give a fuck.
They're putting laundry detergent jugs in the water.
I think some people like they'll like empty and then like rinse them out, and then use them to mark their shit.
Pocket.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Technically they're not supposed to, but they do anyway. But on the off days they pull their pots the day before, so there's no pots littering up the channel and everything, because everyone decides, hey, I'm gonna crab in the same exact fucking spot.
Right in the channel.
Right, yeah, and literally, in the way that the Blaine Harbor is set up is you need to go through the channel, and then you're kind of in the bay, but to really get the good sailing wind, depending on which way it's coming from, you have to go out around the point.
Which is the 45-minute haul.
Yeah, which is, 45-minute motor.
With a sailboat.
Which, if we had no schedule, and we're free as birds and could do whatever we want, I wouldn't care. But, some of us have to work to make a living. For now. Yeah.
Low light.
My low light is that capitalism sucks. And why is I don't think we talked about this on the show. Why is anything that you attach RV or marine to, the price instantly just goes to the moon?
Niche.
Instantly.
Niche.
Instantly.
I know.
You could literally go to West Marine and look up the same exact item. And then you go to like Amazon, and yeah, it may be a Chinese knockoff, but it still will do the same exact thing, and it's a quarter of the price.
It's all a scam, just like doctors.
Yeah.
It's all a scam.
Just like doctors. Yeah.
Capitalism. And we don't have a choice. Like, okay, no, we do. We could, go to those off-brands of things that aren't specifically for that, but sometimes they won't work the same way that you need them to.
And also, it's more of the longevity factor, right? So you could buy a cheap, $20 or whatever from Harbor Freight, but it may not last as long as the severely overpriced kind of garbage stuff sometimes that you can get from these main brands, and it's kind of sad. And I think part of it too is, I think we've talked about it. The one thing about Blaine that kind of irritates me is we don't have any marine supply stores.
I always thought Ace was a marine.
I mean,
I thought it was a pool store, so it's not.
No, it's Ace Hardware.
I always thought it was a pool store.
It's like an outdoor tools kind of thing. They don't sell like wood or anything, but like they're just like tools, like just the hardware stuff. And you're just so limited on what you can do, and yes, if we had a car, it'd be fine, because then we could drive to Bellingham, but I'm not going to take 50 million trips to Bellingham to do one project. I'm not. I did that with the Pearson, we'd go to West Marine and Lowe's all the fucking time to do one thing, and it's just like, I maybe call me petty, but I know.
No.
And it just sucks
You value your
because
time.
Ordering stuff online, granted it's probably not going to get any better in Friday Harbor. But it's just like the lead times on just getting stuff is just insane. Insane.
Well, is that because of just Amazon in general?
I think it's just Amazon in general.
We love Amazon.
But, I mean, it doesn't even really matter. I mean, anywhere now. Like, you're stuck. If you don't want to pay, $100 frickin' for 2-day shipping, you're stuck doing ground. And, I mean, at least Friday Harbor, everything's there. We have, like,
that's why
a couple hardware stores. There is, like, a marine hardware store. There's that other store down by the other marina that has, like, all, like, secondhand, like, consignment stuff that we will probably be going to quite a little bit.
Oh, like a boat consignment?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the bottom floor is all, like, the name brand, like, all their dealer stuff. And then upstairs is all their secondhand. I forget the name of the store.
Well, it's there on Friday Harbor.
Yeah.
Free plug. That's exciting.
And, I mean, like, there's a fabric shop, like, right above the marina, actually. Like, all that stuff.
I mean, it makes sense. It's like this whole state and this whole side of the country is very boat heavy because of the ocean, obviously. But it's islands like that where, I mean, that makes up probably at least a quarter of the population.
Oh, probably easily, yeah.
Easily, probably more.
Yeah.
So they gotta cater to their people.
Well, and yeah, I mean they have to. They have to be as self-sufficient as possible, So, that's my...
Capitalism sucks!
Yeah.
And, is it gonna get better? I don't know.
Probably not.
Well, that's the attitude. Is it my turn?
It's your turn!
This is a very, very sharp right, different topic.
That's okay. That's okay, it's fine.
Wow, how do we go from this to this? Okay, so lots of inner work this week, really, since we've moved here. I think we both know that, and maybe the people listening know that. So
keep talking. I'm listening, I'm
he's
here.
walking around, he's doing other things.
Opening the window.
So I think we've talked about this before, yes. So Dustin has a green-blue aura, these are the lenses in which we see life. These do not necessarily make up our personality, but they definitely influence how we see the world. We're born with aura colors. We carry them throughout all of our lives, like as in different worlds, different times, everything, everywhere, all at once sort of thing. We are that energy. So, the aura colors can change throughout the years in which you grow with programming, whatever you have to go through, traumas, fine. But you can eventually get some colors back that you may have lost possibly from your childhood. Okay, you know that. We've talked about this. You are one of the rare cases, which I think it's probably more likely for boys in this world to keep their aura colors in general as you grow up, because it's just a little easier. So you've always been a green-blue. I've looked at you as a kid in pictures. You're green-blue. You did have some yellow, which I think was from your mom, but that's kind of normal. Like, I think Elena wore some yellow when she was little, but she's another one. She's always been a green indigo. So you've always been a green blue, my sister Elena. So
question.
Yes.
Could it specifically be like a green thing? Like is it like where greens just like won't?
I think it's more of the logic color. So the red, green, and yellow, I think they have a way easier time keeping that
than the emotional.
Like the purple, turquoise, indigo, blue, pink. Yeah. It's just, those are way more easily manipulated.
Okay. Yeah,
then,
I can see that.
yeah.
Okay. Continue. Sorry.
No, valid question. So ever since last summer, I've been starting to get I've looked at many pictures of just throughout a timeline of how I've grown up, and I realized recently that I was a pink, purple, indigo kid, like young kid from the beginning. And like you don't really see colors coming about until you're at least like 3 or 4. So that's what I saw. And I mean, I just started getting my pink back over the summer. They started out as like sprinkles like from the summer, but now it's coming in more like it's just more than sprinkles. Like I don't know how to explain it. So I'm definitely a pink, purple, indigo. I don't know. I would almost say purple, indigo, pink if we're gonna go in order from like
of like how
prominent.
Much. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, how much I'm using each. So it's just kind of funny, and I mean I'm taking that as a highlight because I'm just I'm coming back to me. I'm having the opportunity to really come back to myself and just who I am. And I've been able to have that opportunity to just explore all these parts of me that I kind of you lose over colors or they change because you don't something is making you feel like you're not able to be yourself in this world. So like I wore my inauthentic red for 10 years when I was diagnosed legally blind, and I felt like I couldn't do life if I didn't have this like red armor that I only discovered I had worn for that long only a couple years ago. And that's that was a couple years. That was before we moved.
Yeah. I feel like it was like right before we moved.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It was just like this whole freaking inner turmoil crisis of like, whoa, who am I? Kind of like it was a quarter life crisis. It was around 26, 27.
Yeah.
So that was
How
terrible.
How long have we been here now? I don't remember. It's just
what have we been here?
Quick sidebar on just life and how you start perceiving time differently as you get older, right? Like, we're turning 30 this year. Disgusting.
No, but it's like 5.
But, age is just a number. But, like, it's crazy to just think back, like, 5 years. Right?
We're different fucking people.
We had only been together for a year at that point. And we had, 5 years, 2019. We hadn't even moved in together yet. We were still, so much in love, but just like still kind of like had our own separate places, our own whatever. And then we moved in together. And it's just crazy, like, we've only been here for like not even a year.
It's a year.
Well, not
just over.
Not even like a year and a half yet. And I just look back and I'm like, we lived at like in Irondequoit in like Rochester, and like it
doesn't feel real.
It feels like it was like 10 years ago. Even though it wasn't. It was like, not even a year and a half ago, but it's just like, I think even from then to now, like we've just changed like so much, like for the better, and just our lives are just completely different.
I think there's a whole thing of like, we haven't stayed stagnant for more than a couple years since we've gotten together.
Yeah, I'd say about 2 years is about our kind of
our rotation
when we. Because we were together for 2 years before we moved in together, and then we lived at Woodridge for 2 years, and now we're here, and then possibly going to be moving again around 2 years.
Oh my god, that's so great!
Does like anyone else have that? Is it like just an us thing, or and it's sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
No, it's all right.
But
we're not not going to get through most of our stuff.
But just, just like, the whole thing of just thinking about this, like, when you, let's say you're interviewing for a new job, right? This is kind of on that same tangent. And that question of, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Honestly, I don't fucking know.
Too much happens.
And it's like, oh, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And it's like,
I can't even.
I can't even think about that. I mean, it's just amazing to me what we've done in a year here, and what we're gonna do in probably another year, and it's just like, it's crazy to think how much life we have in front of us, and like even like how much like we haven't done.
I know.
Like, I really want to just save up a bunch of money and just go travel Europe for like a month.
More than a month.
Like 2 months. Like, just, it's not going to be till we move on the boat, but maybe like in a couple years. Mm-hmm. Once we've kind of settled into like boat life and everything, and kind of settled into Friday Harbor and whatever.
There is no ceiling.
We can just, close up the boat for a couple months and go travel Europe or go do whatever.
Anywhere.
Like, I really want to go to Rome and like go see like the Parthenon and the Colosseum and
we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it all because there's no limit.
I want to go lay on a beach in the Mediterranean and like, I don't know, just be like, hey, this is where, like maybe our ancestors lived once upon a time, in like ancient Greece and Rome, and just, like I want to go to Norway and like Iceland and like see all that cool stuff. And
you want to feel history, as Kathy Ho says.
Yeah.
History buff. Yeah. Damn. We're gonna do it.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe when we do it, we don't book a round trip. We book 2 one-ways. Mm-hmm. Like, we book a ticket there, and we go, we spend as much time as we want, and then we come home when we're ready to come home.
Yep, like Elise. Shout out Elise. One-way ticket to Europe. I hope we see her again. She might end up living there. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised. She's very similar to us. I mean, the whole purple vibe is just...
Okay, that was my little dream tangent rant.
Dream tangent. We're gonna do it. So off of that, I'm getting my pink. My pink is his back. I don't want to let it go again. I hope I don't. But who knows what life will bring. Mm. But so with that whole topic of getting an aura color back, so like this kind of happened when I dropped the red and got my purple seeping through. Because for those 10 years, I thought I was a red indigo because it was just like a red haze that pretty much took over. But then my purple started coming through, I noticed, in like lava coming through the armor, and I didn't know who the hell I was, and I started just kind of, it was like I was able to let myself be more of me, but that of course came with some, what's the word I'm looking for? Do you know what I'm saying?
Caveats? Or
yeah, but like some people maybe didn't like understand.
Okay.
And so the same thing kind of is happening now, where like, I'm not changing into a totally different person. I'm just, so with the pink specifically. So the pink aura can act as an empath color and a head color.
Okay.
It has just that weird effect of, it's kind of in a way, no, it's not similar to turquoise. Anyway, turquoises are just interesting in general. So pinks, I kind of have been adopting this whole view of like the head colors. They kind of have like a mailman. Like you have a gatekeeper mailman with your green that it just like blocks things that it doesn't want to deal with. Like mail comes in. So mail is in other people's feelings, emotions, thoughts, because we are all able to do telepathy. So the mailman can control that, and the head color inherently has a mailman. All right, so
I like that.
I know, right? And so this is helpful for people. You know, there's no good or bad aura color. It just is. So like this is great for in general because you're able to block out people's stuff and you're not easily affected by other people's opinions of you and the things that they might want. You're able to kind of like push them away and just do what you want to do without guilt. That's like a big thing too. Like it's so crazy. So okay, you don't, let's say, so for me, like for the last a couple years, I've been a purple indigo strictly, from what I've been able to see, and so I haven't really had a mailman. Like mail was just flying around in both mailboxes, the purple and the indigo, just flying around like a freaking hurricane everywhere. Everybody's stuff coming in constantly, and so you know I've had to learn how to deal with it, and it's been rough. And it's not like I didn't feel it. I just I don't know. My red armor, it wasn't real, but it did help a little. It made me feel better even if it wasn't real. I don't know. I'm probably not explaining this very well. But so now with this pink coming in, I've noticed it just honestly, like I had this whole thing, my highlight low light, written down for the last like week because I wanted to talk about it. But this morning I woke up from a couple dreams. I was like, oh my gosh, my pink, I think I'm getting like a little intern male person coming in now because I don't think they're there all the time. I think it's a typical intern, like, I'm gonna get coffee, have fun, joke around with everybody else, but like occasionally I'll look at something and gatekeep.
Yeah.
Like it's pink. A pink employee. That is what she is. And I'll look at this. She probably doesn't want to deal with that, so I'll toss that away for later in the recycle bin. She can look at it later. But it's not very often, but she's there. I know she's there. So it's just kind of been interesting because this is the low light, because I have this little male lady now that is able to kind of block off stuff, but I think people have gotten used to me not being able to block off stuff. Does that make sense? So like kind of. My whole thing that I talked about before of like, I'm not letting people bring down my vibe. I think that's her. That's the pink now.
That's the pink. Living in your own little bubble.
Yeah, and not letting people, trying my best to not let people bring it down. And that alone is a wall. It's a little bit of a wall. So, like I think we said before, is it selfish? A little bit, but like the head colors, the logic colors, they do that all the time, and they don't feel guilty about it. Where I still feel guilty about it, but so it's an adjustment for everyone around me, and I know that I'm taking on this new way of thought, this mindset of I am a little much. I know I'm a little abrasive and kind of a lot and a Minnie Mouse 2.0, but I don't care, and I'm going with it, and it's a low light for others more than me, maybe.
Well, I love it. So.
Wow. What time are we at here? That was
30, I think.
All right. Well, I have
30
a
minutes.
couple. Okay, 30 minutes. Do you want me to do my what is happening?
Sure.
We've changed our rational complaint category to what is
What is
happening
happening?
because
Yep.
that's kind of what we say.
Yep.
What the fuck is happening? All right. I have a couple. First, what should I do first? We'll go with the low-hanging fruit of the why the fuck are Americans obsessed with the Royals? Like,
I don't know.
even you are bringing me news.
I mean,
It's occasional. It's just like,
I see it though.
I
like
know,
all
we all
over
see it.
TikTok and everything, and
it's just like, why? What is happening that it's so interesting to us? Like, we have endless, not that I watch it, but we have endless amounts of reality TV in this country, but we choose to go and stalk Kate Middleton on social media and see what she's doing. I don't.
I don't know. I don't know.
What's the sick thing in our brains that has to like live off of other people's discomfort and
I mean,
misery?
I wouldn't say discomfort and misery, but maybe the whole of like like them being very like close-lipped about everything.
They're like
and
cats.
Not like, and not like airing everything out in the open where
And that's appealing to us.
maybe because we're so used to just shit being dumped on our heads every fucking day from all of our stupid old politicians and like all of our high people in society here, and maybe it's the whole of like, well, they're not saying it, so we're going to speculate and we're going to figure out what's going on.
Because they're bored.
Because we're bored. And like not even the minute, but like maybe half a day after that video came out.
Which video?
Of like Kate's video that she like posted out on social media about like what happened and what's been going on.
Oh, yeah.
Already conspiracy theorists of like, this is a fake, this is AI, like she didn't actually make that video.
And same thing with the picture too, that was Photoshopped. Like, who cares?
Like, it's just maybe it's the whole just causing drama, and our society just loves to cause drama and doesn't like to just leave shit alone and let people live their lives.
Like, these people that are starting these rumors, they should really write books. Because I think they want to make stories.
Yeah.
And go write something. Yeah. Go do something productive that's going to benefit other people, not just
sit behind a keyboard in your mom's basement spouting conspiracy theories all day long. Yeah.
It's just too much. It's too much.
It really is,
yeah. Okay.
What else?
You can't even
get
around the Travis and Kelsey thing, but that's a whole other thing. Okay. We love Taylor. Oh, yeah. This is really freaky, and I don't know what's... I'm trying not to like think about it too hard because it freaks me out, but here we are. So there was that species of gray whale that was found off the coast of, I think, Massachusetts or Maryland or something, that they hadn't seen in a long time, or they never have seen. It's a new species of gray whale.
Wasn't it something of, I think we thought they were extinct?
Yeah.
Right? And now they just like showed up and we're like,
and so,
what?
like, I don't even know if these are real, but like, I've been seeing these videos of like things coming up like that, like
from
coming up from the deep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's been like more stuff, like
more
surfacing.
Like a megalodon, like the freaking... I don't know if that was real.
Like
a relative, maybe. But is it real? Like, I show you videos sometimes and you're like, that's not real. So, like, it's AI.
I mean, some of it could be, some of it couldn't be. I mean, the thing is, like, the whole, like, mystery of the ocean is still a mystery to us. Like, what is the percentage? We know less about the ocean than we know about, like, our own moon.
Really?
Like we know more about our moon and our solar system than we do about, the oceans that are on our planet.
It's fucking terrible.
And it's just crazy because we haven't even been like really to like the deepest parts yet.
Oh, what did I see? How many miles is it to like the bottom of like the deepest?
It's pretty deep.
It's miles.
Like I
It's
know,
30 miles or something.
like I know James Cameron went, I think, to the Mariana Trench or whatever in the Atlantic. Like he went all the way down. But that's not even like the deepest parts. Like we found deeper since then. We just don't have the technology to be able to survive those depths yet. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what's living down there?
It's right up there with space. The fact that we can't get there is the same thing.
Yeah,
like,
we just don't have the technology yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
I don't want it. Like, so what is happening? Like, is there like a rift opening at the bottom of somewhere?
No. I think it's just maybe.
Like, why are these multiple things coming up at the same time?
Maybe it's something because we're becoming more active on the oceans and all the different things that we're doing, and maybe the noise or whatever, and they're like, what's that?
Huh.
Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's just, maybe we haven't been looking for them before, and now we're actually looking and we're finding them.
We have a lot of eyes in the water. Water. More than we used to, definitely. Your turn.
So what is happening is kind of a nautical sailing news thing. It's kind of related. Mm-hmm. What is happening is what the fuck is happening in our society that is causing things like the Baltimore Bridge collapse to happen.
I was afraid you were going to touch that one.
And we're not going to talk about it very long because it is very tragic. And,
very sad.
And, 6 people died. And it kind of brings to question capitalism on a global scale.
Oh boy, we're going back.
Because it's not just this, right? It's not just, the cargo ship lost power and wasn't able to be recovered in time and, slammed into, the main support for a bridge. It's not just the fact that who knows the last time that bridge was updated. And granted, it was not built, to survive 1,000-foot, almost. Wow. I took the measurements down. Hang on. So the ship's called the Dolly. It's flagged out of Singapore. It's a Singapore company. 95,000 tons when empty, which the ship was not empty. It was about. It can hold 10,000 containers. It had about. I think 4,000. So it was about half full. 1,000 feet, basically. How have we gotten to a point that our safety has started becoming not the forefront of these big companies' minds? That, that something like this could happen. Because it was easily avoidable. The whole thing was very easily avoidable. The ship was not properly maintained. That's why the whole power system failed on the ship, is it was not properly maintained. And, at least their radio worked enough. They were able to get a mayday call to the bridge operator, and he was able to halt traffic. So, there wasn't, it wasn't, rush hour traffic of people going over. That would have been even worse.
So it literally, they weren't paying the proper money to have it be, checked out and everything.
Yeah, because the last time I think it was checked, it wasn't, I don't think the Port of Baltimore checked stuff. Or everything that they had checked manifest-wise was clean. All the maintenance and everything was, oh yeah, it's good, everything's good. And we're just lucky that not to downplay it, but, it was 2 a.m., and there was a construction crew doing some construction. We've only found 2 people out of the 6. And it's just, the Port of Baltimore the other bad thing is the Port of Baltimore is one of our major shipping ports on the East Coast, like one of the biggest ports on the East Coast. So I think some of the fallout is we're going to see car prices are going to start rising because that's where most of the car inventory comes into, is through the Port of Baltimore. There's still a ton of ships basically stuck in the Port of Baltimore that can't leave because they haven't even started cleaning up the bridge yet. And it's been
like 3-4 days.
it's been almost a week. I feel bad for that 22 crew that are now stuck on the ship. They can't leave because they don't have the proper visas to leave the ship because the ship is flagged as Singapore. And the way that works is technically the ship is Singaporean soil, but if they were to leave the ship, they would be on U.S. soil, and they don't have the proper visas to be on U.S. soil, so they're basically stuck. And that's the same with all these ships that are now stuck in the Port of Baltimore. They can't leave, but then their crew can't leave the ship.
Wow.
Because they don't have the proper paperwork to step foot on U.S. soil because they had never planned on staying in port more than a couple days.
And we're not going to bend the rules a little bit?
No.
Okay.
At least there is, I think, a crane barge that arrived, I think, a day ago. And they were going to start cleaning up, but I mean, it's going to be a long cleanup. And they are saying what is coming out is that it was due to contaminated fuel. Why the motors failed. Because the last time they fueled up was somewhere in the Central America, South America was the last time they fueled. And there have been reports of ships out of that same port that they fueled at having power issues.
They got a virus.
Yeah. So just kind of, you look at that, you look at, all of the, rail disasters that we've been happening. Not so much lately because they've, put the standards back into place. But just all of the corners that all these companies are cutting to try and save a buck so they can make the most fucking profit. And it's like, why? Like, that could have been a lot worse. Like, just think if that was rush hour. And I mean, that bridge, that's one of the main connecting bridges between Maryland and Delaware. That's like right there.
Oh, okay.
Like thousands of people go over that bridge. Maybe even close to 1 million people go over that bridge every day.
Yeah, it's all about fucking cutting corners to
Yeah.
make the most money, and safety is not the priority.
And it's just, it's quite disgusting, to be honest, because it's like, how have we come this far as a society that it's just all about money and we don't care how the fuck we get it, Like, at least, and at least, the ship is big enough that it is damaged, and like it is stuck because, the fucking bridge fell on top of it. But at least like it didn't sink.
Yeah.
And then all that fuel and everything else would have been in the water, on top of and I don't know how long. I don't even know if they've even started calculating how long it's going to take to rebuild that bridge because it was a pretty good section. I mean, the bridge is 1.5 miles long, and about half of it just got destroyed. So
tragic, so sad.
Yeah,
and we need to do better.
Mm-hmm. And one last thing, it also goes to show how poor our infrastructure is in the U.S., right? Now, granted, that bridge was built, in the 70s, like most of the bridges in the U.S., and I'm not quite sure when the last time it was, like, maintained. And granted, it wasn't built to survive a 1,000-foot cargo ship ramming into it at, full speed, or, 8 knots. But still, it brings into question, like, we're spending all this money on other things, and why are we not spending it on beefing up our infrastructure? Like, one of our main ports on the East Coast. And we don't think, hey, just as like a, what if, why don't we, I don't know, beef up the supporting columns to this bridge of like, hey, what if a ship loses power and ends up barreling towards, a main support for this main bridge?
That's a big what if.
But I mean, you would think that would be like in their minds, maybe not 40 years ago, but now, you would think, oh, this is becoming a busier port. What can we do as like a preventative? Because like, what is it, Japan or somewhere over in Europe, some of those other countries, they have these like...
Donuts?
Basically, yes. They have these big freaking donut things around all their supporting columns that are designed to take the impact. Because the ships aren't really made to crumple. They're so big, they're just going to keep fucking going. But these are designed to absorb the shock. So it may not damage it as much.
Thing
yeah.
To do. Wow.
So it's...
You're not rebuilding anything.
Yeah.
You're just putting a cushion.
Yeah.
Idiots. They're all cocky, cheap idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Anyway, I can keep talking about it. So
I'll do my Orca update quick,
okay.
And then you can do your green tech, and maybe we'll have time for sailing news. Wow. Okay. So my Orca update, it kind of goes in with the gray whale species. So there's a couple things. There's a new species, possibly species of orca that has been found in the deep Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we have the transient, resident, and offshore orcas. Those are the species, or subspecies right now, groups of orcas.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, that's kind of what it is. I don't know if it's species or subspecies, but just groups in general. So now we may have found
more eco groups or something like that, right? Yeah.
So they found this deep Pacific group, and the thing is with these orcas is that they eat everything.
Like don't they go after like sperm whales?
Yeah,
and stuff?
Sperm whales, sharks, fish. Everything. Compared to the residents, they eat salmon,
other fish,
and other fish. Yeah. Transients, they eat the seals, the porpoises. They don't touch the fish.
Yeah.
Offshore, I think they eat seals and porpoises.
And then wasn't there like that like CA pod in like California that like went after that whale or that shark or whatever?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
Are those the offshore orcas?
I'm not sure. I have to look more into the offshore.
Because there's also the northern residents too.
I think the residents. I have to. You're killing me.
Sorry, no. I'm just.
I don't even know if the different residents eat different things. But basically, there's a new group found.
That's cool.
That wasn't there a little while ago.
Well,
we saw.
They didn't make themselves known.
Yes.
Maybe. Because it's there's about 50 of them, right?
Yeah,
something
41
like
or something. And this is in South Africa. In those waters around there.
Oh, okay.
So warm. I think it's warm. Yeah.
Off of South Africa, like
yeah.
Cape Horn. Yeah.
There was a bay. It started with an M. I can't remember. But yeah, so it's kind of wild.
That's cool.
And then it goes into that they're going to try and, at least here near us, the residents and the transients, they're thinking of making them separate species with like different subspecies with different names. It was like Orcinus pater or something, and then Orcinus something else.
Something, yeah.
But it's not like written in stone yet. It has to like go through that whole like taxonomy.
Oh yeah, I forget the name of it. There's a whole group that it has to go
through. Board.
And then they have to,
because they are so different. Which I don't know. I guess it makes sense. I'm not for it or against it. I think it just is what it is. They are
Yeah.
very different in size, though, which is...
We're at 50, by the way.
We're at 50. Oh, no! Okay.
Um,
Next. Green tech orcas. We love them.
I mean, my quick green tech thing is just
Quick, 10 minutes.
the amazing evolution, I guess, of like technology on boats, and not just boats, but like RVs and like all that stuff. Just like how far we've come, because now, you have Victron, who's like one of the leading, I think like is the leading, like manufacturer and like all this like monitoring and charging stuff.
So it's mostly for charging things and like...
Well, also for monitoring. I mean, Victron has a whole lineup of like you can buy
Free plug.
their like tank module that you can then plug in like tank sensors to, and then plug that into your whole Victron network and be able to monitor your tanks. You have the whole GX line, which is their whole monitoring line, and you have their Serbo, which you can plug all your chargers into, but it also has like built-in relays. It's kind of this really cool stuff. The really cool thing is that the software that runs on that Serbo is open source. So you can download it and put it on a Raspberry Pi and basically have a Serbo for a quarter of the cost. Granted, there are some things you can't do right out of the box that you can do with a Serbo. But you can add them like relays and like tank monitors and like some of that stuff. There's ways to get around it. But just that whole ecosystem and the way it plays together is just really cool. And, the fact that you can, either hook it up to a Wi-Fi router, or they even have a cellular module that you can plug in. So like if you have your boat moored in an area, like on a mooring ball that doesn't have cell signal, you can just have this, that you don't want to, keep your router running, when you're not on the boat. You can just have it talk to, the cell satellites, and then you can go on your phone. You could be, 4,000 miles away and, pull up your portal and be like, oh, what are my batteries at? Is anything, alerting to like, oh, it can't see this anymore.
It's so green.
All that really cool stuff. And I think it's so great. And I'd love to just geek out over it.
Geek, but we love it.
So, Victron, if anyone at Victron's listening, sponsor. Not even like give me money, just like give me free Victron stuff. I'm down for that.
We'd like a box, please.
Yeah.
Do we have time for sailing news? Or no?
Not really. We're going to save it for next time.
We're going to save the sailing news for next time. This has been great.
Yeah, it's been fun.
We're getting more organized as the year goes on.
Yeah, more organized, and I think just more comfortable.
Yeah.
Talking to a microphone to all you people that listen.
Thank you so much for listening.
Plug some of our, not really sponsors, but our affiliates. C-Bar. Great shampoo, conditioner. It's basically, a deodorant stick for your hair. Who else?
Naked Wines. Use our code. All of these. Use our code.
Yep.
Third Eye Sailing.
Our $100 voucher is still valid. What else? Happy
CBD,
Earth.
CBD for life.
Yep.
Happy Earth.
Those are the big ones.
Yep,
Jackery and Blue Eddy. Two other ones. I know they're both running Easter sales right now. So, if people want to go check them out.
Go get a big ass battery. I think that's kind of it.
That's pretty much it. Follow us on all your favorite podcasting platforms. We are also now on YouTube. It's still just audio format, but you can also find us there as well. Now
don't hold your breath for any videos.
Now the Google podcast is bye-bye. Yeah. That's what I got.
Have a great Easter. Eat all the peeps.
And all the chocolate bunnies.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.